What's going on, everybody? So we are here with Oath of the Gatewatch game day. As promised, we are filming some commentary for the first round here from Champion Card Collector. So as you see, the guys are drawing their hands.
With a mulligan,
the player on the left is taking a mulligan, Paul. So we have Paul L on the left. You guys will see based on the cards in his deck, etc. But he is playing 4-color Rally. And we have Sean S on the right playing some Jeskai Black. So as you see today, we're going to have a lot of the kind of typical decks in the metagame. They are pretty spread out. These are feature matches, not necessarily the top matches that we're watching. So we're starting here. So this is Joe talking to you. Also, you heard Schnauz's voice. So
how's it going?
The two of us will be here doing commentary for you. And starts off with a Mystic Monastery on the right for Sean. And he passes the turn. So getting the mana bases set up, getting started, so that we see what we've got here. So a fetch land getting cracked.
Yep.
Getting some
cracks the fetch land, goes down to 19.
Yep. Getting some early damage off on himself. There are certain decks in the format that, especially with the introduction of fetch lands into Standard, are looking to capitalize on the fact that you're going to be dealing yourself some early damage. So you're going to see a lot of aggro decks in the format. And we'll kind of see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what Paul does, because one thing I noticed is that those rally decks really strive off of the Jace Planeswalker. Really strives off, really very powerful in that deck. So that's one thing I'm like going to be, how early is he going to play it? Is he going to protect it enough? Like, that's going to be one thing I'm going to, pretty much he's going to base his deck around that, whether or not he can protect it. Or whether or not he just like either pops him, lets him die. We'll see what he does with it. Not exactly sure his play around that, but...
And as you can see, kind of just because some of the players, as you can tell, like to kind of flip their cards in their hands like that, if you're looking, you can see that in Paul's hand he did not have the Jace, which actually you probably could have told just from the fact that he didn't play it on turn 1, even though he had the blue source. So you could tell it from there, but also you get to kind of get a quick glimpse, if your eyes are fast enough, to see kind of what cards are in his hand. Sean's are a little more hidden, but you might get a quick glimpse at them. But Sean has that Mantis Rider out, which actually just got targeted by the Reflector Mage and bounced back.
And
so
the control starts. That's very early control.
Yeah, and there's also going to be a big theme today, obviously, with fetch lands in Standard. I mean, a big theme today of searching your library for things, shuffling your library, and having your opponent be able to cut it. So there is what I believe is the Abbot of Carroll Keep, which was just played on Sean's side.
Yep, and he actually gets a land from it.
Mm-hmm. Which is good.
Yeah, no, that helps.
Especially, I mean, Sean playing Jeskai Black, just cracking a fetch land now, so while he's searching for his land here.
Looking for something. What is he looking for? Alright, looking for red-black.
Yeah, so it's a Swamp Mountain there. I mean, to be fair, you're in Jeskai Black, one of your biggest issues, and to be fair, they're both playing 4-color decks, so one of your biggest issues at the beginning of the game is just getting your mana base together.
Yeah, he's pretty much got it. Looks like he's got his blue, he's got...
Well, thanks to the Swamp Mountain and the Mystic Monastery, he does have all 4 colors. He just only has 1 red source currently, and it's also his only black source. I'm sorry. He has 2 red sources with the Mystic Monastery, but only 1 black source.
Does have bigger board control right now, so we'll see what he does with it. It's his turn.
It's true.
See how if he can gain momentum off his 2 creatures. If Paul doesn't have a response.
Yeah, well, and Sulfa, here the Mantis Rider comes back, so we've got and he's attacking with it with the Flying Haste, but
in response,
Paul played Collected Company.
Oh.
Let's see if he can get... Collected Company is a big deal for the Obzon Rally decks, or the 4-color Rally decks.
Normally it just hits pretty much... hits 2 creatures. Look at that. Oh, and hits a Jace.
Ooh. Yeah, so Jace is there, Zulport Cutthroat is there, but the damage still goes through. It doesn't get blocked because he doesn't have a flyer, and he didn't get a Reflector Mage, which is probably what he was more looking for from that. Although, to be fair, any free creature is a free creature, and he got 2 off of that. So there you go. And now he is activating Jace. draws his card, discards his card, has enough cards in his graveyard. Yeah, he hasn't discarded yet.
Going through what he wants, making a decision. In this case, I would probably remove a creature source at this point because to deal with those 3 creatures, he's probably going to need some type of spell.
And he did. He got rid of his Grim Haruspex and gets to flip Jace and brings it from... It starts at 5. Let's see what he activates. He brings it to 6 because he didn't flash anything back.
Yep.
So he brings it to 6, and I don't know that I can tell what he activated it on.
On the Strider, I would definitely do it on the Mantis.
The Mantis Rider, yes.
Mantis Rider.
Yep, no problem. And plays down... Oh, never mind. So he plays the Reflector Mage to bounce it. Okay.
Then there's the Jace of 2.
And on the Abbot of Carol Keep. So the Abbot has now -2/-0 until the beginning of Paul's next turn. So that's going to kind of hinder his attacks there, which is, helpful because Paul's trying to get his strategy going a little bit faster. So we'll see. Bouncing the...
I saw Elvish Visionary in Paul's hand.
Yeah, which means he could draw a card if he gets it.
Get the dude. I really like that card. I mean, it is a 1/1, but still, the value of it, you get a dude, you draw a card. That's literally instant card advantage.
Exactly.
It's a great card. You can use a chump blocker. It can also kill anything with a 1 power, especially anything that's... I've been around for a while, so usually anything with red involves a 1 toughness.
Right.
So all of a sudden, your Elvish Visionary gets so much use and versatility out of it. And especially against anything red.
Right. And in the rally decks, to be honest, once that Visionary comes out, it's already served its usefulness in drawing you the card. And so once that card's been drawn, use it as a blocker, use it as 1 more power if you're going to double or triple block, and get it into your graveyard for Rally of the Ancestors so that when it comes back from Rally, draw another card.
It's great. It's a great card.
So it works really well, especially in this deck, although it's just a great card in general. So he's tapping 2.
What is he doing? He's making a decision here, playing another... Okay.
So the Cutthroat is important when those creatures do go to the graveyard, which it was just countered, actually. And he drew a card off of Ojutai's command. So he was able to counter the creature spell in the Cutthroat and draw a card. 2 more mana to put down that Visionary that we were talking about. Draws that card. So there you go.
Still great.
Draws a land, I believe, a Canopy Vista.
Now, I think that play, I think he might have saw that counter spell coming because he already had a Cutthroat out. So he played another Cutthroat. I mean, it is an engine, but out of the Elvish Visionary, he really seemed to got a little more power and drive out of the Elvish Visionary because it's not only he gets the dude and draws the card. So I think it seems like he played around the counterspell really well.
He also activated Jace on the Abbot of Carol Keep and then attacked with just the Reflector Mage, which Sean took. So Sean taking an extra 2 damage there. Just from a good, quick attack from a Reflector Mage. Obviously nothing super valuable. It was 2 damage, but every little amount helps. Sean cracking what looks like 2 fetch lands there at the same time. So he's taking 2 more damage, but he gets 2 cards out of the deal. So both polluted deltas, I believe.
Now Sean's running out of gas here. He's only got 2 creatures. He's got full untapped lands, but still, I mean, 4 versus 4 creatures and a Jace. It's going to be a little difficult to try and get control of this board. He's kind of running away from him. Oh, and there's a bomb.
So the Mantis Rider comes back, but he's got 2 now because we knew that he had the 1 because it was bounced with the Reflector Mage. But now he has a 2nd, so that's 6 more power on the field that can both attack right now with flying and haste. And sure enough, he does so and attacks both at Jace, bringing him from 7 down to 1. So doesn't quite get rid of it, but gets it that much farther away from ultimating and doesn't let it use its 2nd ability, its minus ability, and the fact that now, next turn, if Paul does not have a response to 1 or both of the Mantis Riders, only one of them attacking the Jace can take it down next turn if the next turn goes similarly to the way this one turn went.
Jace has big target on his head right now.
Which, to be fair... Well, here's another collected company as we see Paul looking through.
It's such a great card.
And playing down 2 cards, which are, I mean, I'm not sure. I feel like
Nantuko,
a Nantuko Husk and another Jace. So, and with the legend rule, it is allowed because Jace Varin's Prodigy is not the flipped Jace.
Yep.
So, very good strategy there that he has a bunch of Jaces out, and he is
way more board control.
He played another Reflector Mage, bouncing it back, and sacked the Elvish Visionary to the Nantuko Husk, activating Zulaport Cutthroat's ability to have Sean lose 1 life and himself gain 1 life, which is, as you can probably tell if you didn't know already, the strategy of the deck kind of taking hold.
Collected Company in this deck is it's able to hit just about every creature.
Yep. And there we go. There goes Jace getting attacked with 1 Mantis Rider and getting taken down. The other one going at Paul.
Very good call.
So
good
Paul
strategy.
was changing his
Jace
life
needed
total
to go away, but the fact that he was able to get the Jace Vince Prodigy off that Collected Company, he's still got some life left in him, but he's still got 6 creatures on the board. Sean's only got 4.
Yeah.
He's got to even this out somehow.
Yeah, see, and you see Sean checking the graveyard. He knows this is a rally deck. He knows that the creatures in the graveyard matter. It is important. It's something that he has to take a look at. So just checking the graveyard there. Nothing in exile. So all of that stuff is viable to come back with rally, depending on if Paul has it, if Paul draws it, and what he makes as his X value, because it does not need to be that high with all of his low-costing creatures in that deck. So
yeah, and the Nantuko Husk can just eat all of them, and then for the Cutthroat, that's a lot of lost life. Mm-hmm. See if he can pull something off this
Looks
turn.
like he drew another Husk. He's got a Grim Haruspex in his hand as well. So he just drew a card with Jace.
Yep.
He drew another Cutthroat, it looks like. And so he's going to pick the Husk to discard. So
he wants the Cutthroat in this case. The Husk, he already has a Husk on the field. No need for another one at this point, unless that one dies. But currently, right now, it should be all right.
Yeah. Looking really good for Paul. Here comes the Cutthroat. It looks like he's kind of giving Sean the opportunity to get rid of it if he wants to.
He cracked a fetch in response.
He did. In response to the Cutthroat being played, he gets a mountain, just a regular good old mountain, which is only one of 3 basics that Sean has on the field right now. Kind of interesting. As I'm sure you guys will see in a lot of decks, his basics are full art basics. Okay, so he's got Ojutai's Command to do the same thing, counter it, and gain some life.
That's a good plan. He doesn't really need cards right now. I think what he's sitting on is, I can't really tell from here, but it's like he's sitting on enough control for him to do something with the board, and it's his turn now.
Yeah, so let's see.
See what he can do with this board.
Yeah, as I mentioned, usually you think of, Jeskai Black is 4 colors, but 4-color rally, it's in the name. So
that Collected Company is still doing that card from a while ago, still doing work with those 6 creatures. He's got a nice engine going, and he's got a Jace out again.
Yes. Yeah, so we'll see if the Mantis Riders are going to continue to target the Jaces. Are they going to go after Paul directly? Because it looks like Paul does not have a way to stop them. But at the same time, Sean may really just want to get rid of that Jace because it is pretty dangerous if left alone for too long. That
is very true. He can. What is he going to do? In this case, maybe I would hit Jace. Then again, with 2/3/3 flyers, you could get your opponent down real quick, real fast, and just use the other 2 creatures as chump blockers.
Right.
But is that he's going to take that option? Depends on what he has in his hand.
Okay, so he just used Kolagon's Command, dealing damage to his Grim Haruspex, which is what you saw him kind of take a look at the card, try to figure out what exactly it did. So if you notice, Paul actually, in response, sacrificed a Sidisi's Faithful, which was hiding in there. I didn't actually notice it.
Wants to draw some cards off it.
Yeah, so he gets to draw a card off of that Grim Haruspex before it dies. Also off the Kolagon's Command, Sean targeted to make Paul discard a card. So right now, the players, it's going to take them a minute. They're kind of discussing triggers here because a lot of things are happening on Paul's side of the table.
As soon as things die, that deck just kind of does work.
Yeah, so he's talking about the Nantuko Husk, the Grim Haruspex and the Zulaport Cutthroat are all
Sean's
activating.
Also lose some life out of this too,
right? And Paul's going to gain. So, he's basically because Paul knows what Sean has in his deck. At this point, he's just waiting for Sean, giving him the opportunity, doing the right thing here, letting him, see if he wants to respond, and kind of reminding him of the trigger. So Sean
lets it go.
Yeah, Sean just allowed it all to happen. So it goes down. The Grim Haruspex draws a card. Now he has to discard as well, but that's after the fact. So you'll see the Haruspex go away if he's allowing that to happen. So he's also sacking a Reflector Mage. So he's doing it a second time here. The Kolaghan's Command is still on the stack, don't forget. So it has happened, it just hasn't kind of activated yet. You can kind of take a look at the cards in Paul's hand. He's got another Reflector Mage. He's got an Ailey in there, and it looks like another Elvish Visionary. So he's once again allowing Sean to respond to the triggers. They're kind of determining what's going on the table right now as kind of life totals change.
If he keeps sacking stuff, he's gonna just try to refill his hand.
Exactly.
At that point, even if his stuff dies, he can just refill his field.
And to be fair, that's good on Sean because Sean knows that was part of Paul's strategy. So Paul's doing it one more time with the other Reflector Mage.
Still going. And he's gaining life off this as well.
And Sean's taking damage.
He's gaining momentum here, although it might not seem like it, because he is losing a lot of creatures in the process. With this play for the Nantuko Husk. By the way, the Nantuko Husk is starting to get big.
Yes, and the Kolaghan's Command did just activate. If you notice, Paul took the Jace out of his hand, combined with the Grim Haruspex, and put them both in the graveyard. So that did happen. That was allowed to happen after about 75 other things happened
fodder
first.
For the rally.
Exactly.
Once he gets it, it's going to be pretty devastating.
Yeah. And I think, obviously, Sean knows that. As we mentioned before, Sean did take a look at the graveyard, knows what's coming because of what this deck is.
He's got to do something like really soon, or as soon as a rally comes, he's going to be running out of steam real fast. He's going to get hit real hard.
Yeah.
So he's got to do something here. What is he going to do?
He's fiddling with some mana, trying to figure out what's going on. So he's got a Crackling Doom, which he's going to use on the Jace and the Nantuko Husk. So the Jace takes some damage, the Husk goes down. So the only thing left on Paul's field is the Zulaport Cutthroat. So yes, Rally the Ancestors would be fantastic right now, but to be fair, if he doesn't draw it, I mean, he's got a Reflector Mage in his hand, he's got an Elvish Visionary in his hand, he's got an Ailey.
True. Yeah.
But if he doesn't draw
options.
that Rally, that's okay. And there goes from a Wild Slash. There goes the Zulaport Cutthroat. So
just board wipe.
Right, and Sean's
all
been
out swing. Got to do the damage in now before the rally comes in.
But he's targeted Jace with some of it, so it does kind of wick it away from Paul's life total.
Still, that's more fodder for rally. If he draws the rally, it's game over.
Yeah. So,
what does he draw the rally?
It does not. It
doesn't look like it. He's still got an Elvish Visionary in his hand.
True. And the Reflector Mage to bounce some stuff. He is taking a look at his graveyard. That could be a scare tactic for Sean. It could be kind of, hey, I drew this card, but he just put that Polluted Delta in there. At least I believe that's Polluted Delta. Yep. Cracking a fetch, going and getting a land there for himself. Prairie Stream, shuffling up. Again, kind of. They call it the loading screen for the decks here to have to have the fetch lands so that you shuffle, you cut, etc. And if that Elvish Visionary comes down, he can draw that card again. Hopefully, he sees the rally. But
that's what he's got to hope for. There he goes, Elvish Visionary
draws a Collected Company. That'll help a lot.
That's still a great card.
It's true. That'll help a lot.
Great card. That'll help him refill this field.
Yeah. The thing is, it's an instant. So, do you play it on your turn? Do you play it on your opponent's turn?
You could use the creatures you get out of as blockers, but depends on what he wants to do right now.
Yep. And Sean's
does he want the creatures out now? Does he not want the creatures out now?
Right.
It tells him to go.
Right. So
doesn't want them out now.
It's a good strategy because it means that you're catching your opponent off guard with it. You give them less opportunity during their turn to respond to the creatures that you've played.
Still all out swing.
Here comes the attack, and there's the Collected Company. So it is as you said.
Goes on the stack.
See, first card
was a rally. There's another rally in there. Ooh, so that must hurt. They both go on the bottom.
Yeah,
and he only gets one creature out of the Collective Company.
That's right.
Oof.
And it's an Elvish Visionary, which came into play, so he drew his card from it. And now he's got 2 1/1s trying to block. He's only got 2 creatures that he can block with them because there's 2 flyers on the field. Does he, double block with them? Does he kind of spread it out? And he does. He spreads them out to stop it. The Abbot dies.
Only has one toughness.
Right, and so, but still takes 6 off the Mantis Riders.
There's really nothing much you can do about those things. 3/3 flying haste. There's really not much you can do about those.
No, and he just drew another land off the top. So Paul slightly running out of gas. He does, as I mentioned, have Reflector Mage, but Reflector Mage doesn't do anything against creatures with haste because as soon as they come back in, so there's Ailey, Eternal Pilgrim, comes down for Paul. Sean is responding by getting rid of it.
Draw card.
Yep. Okay.
That was a Reflector Mage.
So he bounced it back to his hand. Sean's being nice, showing the cards in his hand to Paul that
he
Paul knows.
about.
Yep. Plays a land, Flooded Strand, cracking it, taking another damage.
It's like a half a telepathy. It's all right. Like, I kind of know these. It's fine.
But he's being nice because Paul's got a piece of paper off to the side there where he's writing down life totals. He can also write down cards, but the stuff that you know that he has, might
as well just keep it.
That's
it's
a nice thing to do.
It's a friendly thing to do.
Exactly. In a casual game, that's kind of what you should do. So good on Sean for deciding to do that. Kind of figuring out what lands he wants to use here. And he digs through time. That's kind of a big deal. So now Sean gets to look at the top 7 cards of his library, and he's picking 2. It's his version of refilling his hand. He did delve there like he was supposed to, since he only tapped 2 on the board for it. Takes 2 cards, puts them face down. Again, he's still showing Paul those other 2. So, okay. And Jeskai Charm comes down, and Paul gives up.
Scoop.
So Paul gives
Very
up.
Strong opening start.
So that was game 1, guys. That was still only game 1. Pretty exciting. So we will come back to you as they shuffle up their decks and stuff. We will come back to you once game 2 has begun.
All right, starting up game 2, round 1. Starting out with a mulligan from Paul. Didn't seem to like what he got. Sean is looks like he's thinking about keeping. Looks like he's thinking about keeping.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna see that with Paul's type of deck is if you don't have the pieces that you're looking for, it'll be very quick. And especially since Paul is now down a game, he's really got to be a lot more particular. So I see a Rally of the Ancestors.
A rally, so I think he's gonna keep it now. He's got to keep it.
We'll see. Got a piece. Yep, and there's the scry. Yep. Keeps it on top, so he likes what he saw. That's good for him. And was on the play because he lost, so...
I can understand that.
Starting off with fetch lands on both sides.
It definitely, in this case, you want to mulligan aggressively to get all the pieces you need, even if you might take a couple hits, but just a generic tip. If you need to mulligan to get that aggressive early play, especially against a deck like Jeskai Black, you're going to want that big early start in order to get you forward.
Mm-hmm. And there you go. Within the first, minute of the game, we have 3 fetch lands cracked, and we have a Jace on the field already. So there you go.
The mulligan was a good play.
Mm-hmm.
Helped him out a lot.
And Paul searched for basic lands, whereas Sean went for the Prairie Stream, kind of one of the newer dual lands from Battle for Zendikar. So
draws his card for the turn. There you go, another. Fetches again.
So that's 4 polluted deltas played in the first 2 turns of the game. Okay, and so there's Jace, I believe.
Look at that, Jace v Jace. Come on.
Is it Jace? I believe so. He's using the little token card there, going in his sideboard box to pull out the Jace. So there it is. So basically the same move on both sides. It's not, but it's the mirror match, but it's not. But Paul activates his Jace first, draws his card, discards a Rally of the Ancestors. He's really nowhere near playing it yet, so plays his land for the turn and passes it off. So we'll see.
Probably aiming by. Oh, I saw a Collective Company actually in Paul's hand. So he's probably going to want to.
He needs
flashback the Collective Company with the Jace once if he can get to it.
And he's got his green source.
Yeah.
He just needs one more land.
Yeah. And he's probably got it in his hand, more than likely.
Oh yeah, I would assume. It looks like he's got at least a flooded strand there. So he might have to take a damage for it, but it'll be totally worth it if he gets the cards, the creatures that he needs. Starting off a little slow.
Probably gonna use the Jace, draw a card.
Oh yeah, so there's the flooded strand, cracking the fetch,
strand, doing that order. All right.
Yep, getting the Canopy Vista off of it, so that's good. It's another green source if he needs it, which right now he doesn't.
Is he gonna rush for the Jace pop right away? Yes, he is.
Draws an Elvish Visionary.
Okay. Gives him a little more speed.
Has a Prairie Stream in his hand and discards. Can't quite see it there.
A little off camera.
But that's all right. Jace gets flipped.
Yep.
And he activates it on the other Jace. He might even have 2 collected companies in his hand. He definitely does.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
wow. That's a lot of creatures coming out into play.
Yes. So there's the Jace activation on Sean's side. He's thinking about it.
Does he want to do it?
Oh, he's waiting. I guess Paul told him to hang on a second.
In response? Oh, he's thinking about Collective Company.
Yeah. Nope, he lets it happen. Because Jace is about to get activated with that 4th card in the graveyard, I believe. Sean's deciding what to discard. Hasn't done it yet.
Yeah, he doesn't want a Collective Company now because once the Jace gets popped, if he waits maybe till the end of his turn, when he actually pops his Planeswalker, he won't have any targets for the -2/-0.
All right, so he discarded the Kolagon's command.
There's the
end of turn Collected Company.
Yep.
And by the way, I did see that the Elvish Visionary got discarded there from before, from the Jace ability. So gets 2 cards off of it. Looks like a Catacomb Sifter, I believe. So he's going right now to get that Eldrazi Scion token. 2 of them. So okay, 2 Catacomb Sifters? Yep. Yes. Okay. So he's got 4 creatures on the board.
4 creatures off of 4 mana at the end of someone's turn. That's pretty devastating.
Oh, and I guess I was incorrect on the Jace activation. I'm sure people have tried to tell me that in the comments already. So sorry about that. But the Jace didn't activate on Sean's side yet, even though the ability was used. So we'll see how that goes. So Paul has played Cutthroat, and Sean has scooped it up. He did not like what he saw. So that was a very, very quick game 2. So we are about to go right into game 3. And just like before, we will be back to you kind of as they begin with game 3.
He had a lot of options there to go with. So it was like Sean made the right choice of scooping. He saw all the options that Paul had at his disposal, and he had nothing that could stop it.
Yeah, it was just gas on gas. So we'll be back, guys, for game 3. And as I said, we will see you in just a moment.
All right, we're back for the final game of round 1. Let's see where this one heads off to. Last match started in a mulligan.
And we've seen both decks at their peaks at this point. It was not a fluke win on either side. I mean, to be fair, Sean was a little light on gas game 2, but you got to see multiple collected companies from the left. No Rally the Ancestors yet, but we are seeing a Duress right off the bat.
Wow, that's devastating, really.
Cracking a fetch land and getting the Duress. Sean showing the card, kind of assuming what Paul's going with, and he's correct. So the Silumgar's Scorn goes away. Sean again being the nice guy and leaving his hand out there. Whatever the card that Paul doesn't know, he's leaving upside down. But otherwise, again, it's a casual game, being nice about it. So leaving his hand out there so that Paul doesn't have to worry about forgetting about certain things. A fetch land gets cracked on Paul's side, and it looks like a Jace comes down for him. Typical early play from the rally deck.
Already has 3 cards in his graveyard.
And there goes a Mantis Rider. Speaking of typical plays, we saw that nice and early, so that's super helpful. Cracks another fetch land for it.
That's good. He's got to deal with that, or that Rider's just going to get out of control and just keep chipping away at his life total. Especially if he wants us to keep playing fetch lands. He's pinging himself and getting pinged from a rider.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just devastating to deal with.
And he's getting if you notice, there were no Mantis Riders game 2 for Sean, and Sean lost that game, but there were a bunch game 1 and he won. So you gotta
something to keep in mind. Now he's got a big threat on the board. Paul's got to deal with it.
I have to say though, Sean may have a threat, but don't forget that Jace is not a threat either. So
that's very true.
Something on both sides, and sure enough, here's Jace activating right away, drawing a card for Paul.
Could make that Mantis Rider a 1/3 for a while. So kind of takes down its threat level a little bit.
He already knows most of the cards in Sean's hand. He's only a question mark is one of them right now. It's totally possible it could be a land. So
there seems to be a land in Sean's hand right now.
Discards a basic to flip Jace, and has he activated it yet? It doesn't look like it. Sean again assuming that it's going to happen on the Mantis Rider, and sure enough, it does. Makes sense. Nothing really in his graveyard to flash back right now on Paul's side.
Does he
so
play a creature? Does he not? What does he do?
And he has an Antuco Husk.
So starts off with his agent.
Yep.
All right.
Turn is passed.
Feels pretty good about it.
So it's 3 and 2, almost even on
see a collective company in Paul's hand,
which would be real good. So a fetch lane gets cracked again.
He's got a Jace. He's got the collective company. That seems to be his win condition.
It's pretty good. We have not seen a Rally of the Ancestors yet. I mean, we've seen them, but we haven't seen them played. And those are a big game. I mean, clearly in game 2, Paul didn't need it. But we'll see. Maybe we see one this time. Maybe we don't. Maybe we have to wait for later in the tournament. We'll see.
I hope we see it. That's such a great card. Very, very powerful card to get all those creatures back out, and you can just drive that energy with an Antuco Husk, and all of a sudden you're just sacking things left and right, drawing cards.
And the Mantis Rider was able to deal 1 damage to Jace, because don't forget Jace activated on it. There is a morph down on Sean's side. So I don't know if... I mean, I'm sure Paul is aware enough of what's in Standard. He probably has some guesses as to what it is. Actually, that's my mistake. Paul knows exactly what it is, because he saw the cards that were in Sean's hand, and it was one of the ones that he was aware of. So it's laid face down, but the reason it was laid face down is because of its unmorphing effect. So that's pretty important, but it's not because it's a mystery in any way. Paul is exactly aware of what's there.
The question is, does he want to do something about the morph, or does he not?
Yeah, and right now he might just be building up his board. So
tapping 3, not going to play the collective company in his hand. Going to play
Reflector Mage.
What is he to bounce?
Let's
Does
see.
he bounce? Okay.
Because don't forget, it puts Sean back because he has to tap mana to replay the Mantis Rider, but besides that, it does not prevent it from attacking. It does have haste. So
that's true. So in this case, would be the better option would definitely be there
you go. So he knew what it was. He was able to flip it up, and then responds by getting rid of the Mantis Rider. So there you go. Mantis Rider is gone. So speaking of taking care of that threat, it has been done.
Gone. Now, all of a sudden, Paul is in the driver's seat of this game.
And we'll see. Obviously, again, knows the 2 creatures that are in Sean's hand right now, or at least 2 of them. But it's a 50-50 mystery now. What those other 2 cards are. Sean did just play a land for turn, so it's definitely still possible that some of those face-down cards could be lands. You don't know it because Sean hasn't been forced to have to play them yet. And right now, kind of in the tank, Sean is trying to figure out what to do. And
that Antuco Husk can definitely be a pain right now for Sean. He's got to do something. Or no, he just passed his turn.
He passed his turn.
Looks like someone's running a steam already.
Maybe. I mean, he's got the cards. You know, I mean, he could have replayed that morph.
It's true. He's still got cards in hands that aren't revealed, so maybe have an answer. So you have his answer to it.
Allows the damage to come in. That's, I think, 4 damage right there. So it's incremental, but here's another duress. Let's see if Sean has a response. He does. He digs through time. You saw him take those cards. It's definitely something that he had thought about because he knew exactly which cards in his graveyard he was turning sideways to exile them, looking at that top 7 and picking 2 for himself. So
now he's digging through time, and he's got to realize that those cards that are going to get digged through time are going to go in his hand, and they're going to be looked at from the duress.
It's true. It's true because he's doing it in response.
So does he want that to? Does he want it in his hand or?
Well, and he might be looking for more stuff. Well, I was going to say he might be looking for more stuff, but he's now tapped out.
He can choose 2 of the same card, and then he would only lose one of them.
But
that's an option.
But he's tapped out, so you can't even say that he was digging through time to try to play something else in response because there just isn't anything in response. So he is picking up those cards. He's looking at his own hand to try to determine what he wants from the dig. Getting in the tank a little bit here because yes, absolutely, the duress is still on the stack. It is something that he has to consider of not only what he's picking but what's going to get seen. So he has made a decision, and now we get to see these 4 mystery cards out of Sean's hand. Reminding him of the duress. There it is. So he's got 2 fiery impulses and another dig through time. It looks like. So
this is a tough choice.
Those are some of the choices that Paul has to make here. Sean's tapped out, so he has nothing else going on this turn. But let's see what Paul's going to choose here with his duress. Kind of thinking about it, obviously, kind of a big decision.
What is he going to choose? Is he going to choose creature card?
Because as you mentioned, there are 2 fiery impulses. So if he picks one, there's still another. But otherwise, I mean, dig through time once again is a big game. So he's got another one in there.
Big threat or the medium threat?
And he does. He gets rid of the dig through time. Lets him. He's aware that he has 2 fiery impulses now, though. So that damage could be coming pretty soon. And at least now Paul's aware of it. That's obviously another benefit of the duress is not only you're getting rid of something in their hand, but you're aware of it. Again, Sean being the nice guy and leaving it out there for him as a reminder.
I guess he's got a good board clear at this point. He can start laying down spells.
He's got 5 mana. He's I'm sure he wants a little bit more.
That's true. And I'm at this point. I mean, I'm pretty sure Sean has figured out the deck where collective company is a thing. So no matter what cards Paul's sitting on, Sean's probably thinking that he has a collective company in his hand.
He's had it almost every time, if I remember correctly. He's had it almost every time.
He's done something, it's like on response of collective company.
Yep.
And he seems to be the thought going through into his head right now.
And he has the lands for it right now. So at the end of Sean's turn, before he untaps, does he? I don't even remember at this point if he has it in his hand. But if he does, we might see it right now, and we sure do.
There it is.
It's been there every time, man. That card is incredible. He's looking at the top 6. He can get creatures. He's seeing if
response.
Yeah, he's seeing.
What does Sean do? He's got to take care. He's got to take care of this card, or it's just gonna, or he's just gonna run away with the game.
And we saw Sean scoop to a collected company in game 2. You can see him thinking about. I don't know that he's thinking about scooping, but Paul does not know there is 1 mystery card in Sean's hand, and Sean's got 3 mana untapped, 2 of which are blue sources. So it's definitely possible that we'll see. And kind of exacerbatedly lets it happen. He's not happy about it, but it's there.
In this case, Sean's kind of stuck because he's got only 1 red mana. It looks like, and he needs a little more red mana to get those burn spells out.
Yep, and so
it's just not going to happen.
And so Paul gets 2 creatures: the second Nantuko Husk and the Zulport Cutthroat.
With
so
1 red mana, he's kind of stuck. He can't get rid of those Nantukos.
Yeah, and. Well, and to be fair, getting rid of 1 Nantuko, it's not that easy if you're going to be able to pump it up till end of turn. So and he's got enough gas for it.
He's got a cutthroat in play, so he's going to start losing life, gaining life. There's 1.
But the fiery impulse is on the cutthroat. That's important because he's only going to get 1 activation off of it. He's sacking it to that particular Nantuko Husk.
Well, that's correct.
So that one will be a bigger than the other one. And Sean was smart in targeting it because, again, targeting a Nantuko Husk, it doesn't necessarily matter. Whatever gets targeted is going to be sacrificed, but getting rid of the cutthroat is what allows him to
essentially drain the other person of their life.
But the Jace was activated, a collective company was flashed back, and he got another Nantuko Husk and another Cutthroat. So
the card's devastating every time.
Yep. And so
I want to just look away every time I see it.
You see Paul set aside the bigger Nantuko Husk, meaning that Sean is blocking the smaller one. And it is they're just double checking there that is what happened. So Paul is going to sacrifice it to the bigger one again, so that's that much more damage that Sean is writing down for himself, plus the Reflector Mage, which kind of got ignored, but that's because it's only a 2/2. The Husk was pretty big. So, and don't forget, he's got another Cutthroat and another Nantuko Husk, and there it is.
Oops, he just kept putting the damage on from the Nantuko Husk.
And from the Cutthroat. He could have sacrificed all of his creatures and keep gaining life and making Sean lose life.
A lot of engine there.
So good games on both sides.
The Collective Company just rolled away with that game every time.
Yeah, Rally the Ancestors Collective Company. We did not see a single Rally the Ancestors from the 4-color Rally deck.
Yes,
but Collective Company got the game done.
Yeah, no, that was the nail in the coffin for both games that Paul seemed to have won. So there seems to be some leverage in that card in Standard.
Yeah,
at least something I've noticed. And then with Jace's ability to flash it back, I mean, how do you? It's essentially you're getting 6 mana worth of creatures off a 4 mana card, and then doing it again.
Right. Well, which means that your deck now has 8 copies of Collective Company in it. And I mean, with essentially 8 copies of that card, not only is it as devastating as we've seen it, but there's usually a reason why Wizards only allows you to have 4 copies of any one card in your deck, and now that this has the Jace ability has allowed him to have up to 8.
That's very true, and the fact that you can have one at instant speed and one at sorcery speed, I mean, there's so much variance in that play.
Right.
Where there's a lot you can do with it. You can all of a sudden get 2 creatures out on your opponent's turn, another 2 creatures out on your turn.
And don't forget, you could get more than 2. You could get as many as you see, and that's. We almost consistently saw 2 from Paul this time around, just because that was kind of what he drew. But you could also get none. That's kind of, I guess, in a way, why could be a little bit weaker. But we didn't see that. We didn't see that happen at once.
We didn't see that deck slow down at all. Any game, even the game he lost, he was still trying to get that gas to start going. Yeah. I mean, we saw him on the misfortunate use Collective Company and saw 2 rallies in the first game, and that was a big hit. But still, in the next 2 games, we saw that card just go and hit every time, causing Sean a scoop. Yeah. So in those situations, what did you do? I mean, just judging by game 1 or round 1, I would say that this deck has the possibility to keep going up in the ranks, at least from what I've seen so far.
Well, and the other interesting thing is, I mean, this is Oath of the Gatewatch game day, and I did not see a lot of impact from Oath of the Gatewatch. The Reflector Mages are from this block, and the Cutthroats are from this block, but the Nantuko Husks and the Jaces, and those cards are from older sets, and yet I mentioned this in the introductory video that we had. Oath of the Gatewatch was very impactful for Modern as a format, as we saw. Which it was just almost entirely taken over by Oath of the Gatewatch, which is interesting because it's in the fact that it's a smaller set, but at the same time, from this deck, we did not see a big impact. So interesting. We'll have to see how it affects the rest of the tournament. The other videos that we are putting out. So guys, as we always say here, thank you guys so much for watching. And we will be back to you very soon with the rest of the matches from this event. And guys, in whichever video of ours you watch next, we will see you all next time. Thanks, guys.